Wisk is a promising eVTOL aircraft in the urban air mobility sector, ready to take off as an air taxi. This electric aviation vehicle has an autonomous operating system using a vector thrust propulsion. Wisk has taken over the heavy lifting after Kitty Hawk was put up in the shed. It has a good heritage. Can Wisk make a clean takeoff on the vertiport? Its rating in the Advanced Air Mobility Reality Index looked pretty good at first glance, but there are a couple of blank spots when you look closer. Were they important? We'll take a closer look at that AAM Reality Index report in this video, as we look at the Wisk Gen 6 aircraft, ready to go to market. It looks like it's ready for production. It looks really good. This is the Wisk G6 aircraft, an electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, designed to take off from vertiports anywhere in a crowded city and transport you to your destination for about $3 per passenger mile. Making a short-distance flight is as simple as ordering an Uber. Extremely congested cities like New York, Los Angeles, London, and São Paulo are the immediate problems that have to be addressed. Anywhere traveling 20 to 40 miles in a car that takes you an hour to 2 hours, it is a pretty serious human condition problem. Wisk has autonomous flights that are designed to be 10 to 20 minutes long for 4 passengers. It's an ambitious goal, but there's an education process that requires the community to be involved in rethinking how the city is designed, and how their time is spent traveling. Certainly, they would need to put their trust in this new technology, and Wisk says it's up to the task, and the Gen 6 aircraft is ready to get them there. Remember, we'll get to your questions about the AAM Reality Index near the end of this, but here's a real quick history of how Wisk got here. Larry Page, a co-founder of Google, backed Kitty Hawk, an aviation company that created the first 5 generations of aircraft, including the 5th generation, the autonomous Cora. In 2019, Wisk, a company solely focused on autonomous aviation, was founded by Kitty Hawk and Boeing, a committed partner. A few years later, Kitty Hawk ceased operations, but Wisk persisted and developed Gen 6 on that legacy. Wisk undertook a significant redesign of the aircraft it intends to launch and fly in large numbers with Gen 6. Hey guys, just click the tiny red square in the lower right corner to subscribe. Being a subscriber here means a lot to us. We appreciate you so much. Wisk made the cabin larger and increased the wingspan from Cora's 33 feet to 50 feet, carrying 4 passengers as opposed to 2. Wisk completely redesigned the propulsion while keeping the electric vertical takeoff and landing eVTOL design from the previous generation. While numerous businesses are vying for supremacy in the eVTOL market, many of them are beginning with pilots at the controls. According to Wisk, the first flights will be unpiloted, taking off, flying, and landing on their own, but humans will always be in charge. Multi-vehicle supervisors who work on the ground and keep an eye on up to 10 aircraft at once will be in charge of each aircraft. Consider the supervisors as being more like air traffic controllers. They are merely keeping an eye on the planes to see if there are any deviations, alerts, or other situations that require their intervention. However, Wisk claims that they mostly just want to observe. They claim that transitioning to fully autonomous driving, with vehicle supervisors on the ground keeping an eye on several aircraft at once, is not as big a leap as we might think. You could consider it as the pilot leaving the aircraft to complete those monotonous tasks that weren't really the best use of their skills. Wisk claims that computers have been performing those tasks for decades. With this aircraft, the manufacturer also had to develop a system capable of higher-level duties that a pilot would typically handle, such as scanning the area for hazards, keeping track of other aircraft and flight paths, and changing course if a hazard materializes. Despite this, the automation is still based on strict logic. Passengers will have a very different flight experience if there is no crew. A speaker and screen in the cabin will be used to transmit all the information. In lieu of a flight attendant making announcements, the idea is that you receive your safety messages in this manner. Even a concierge could be reached through it. Although there is a help button, there is never an actual flight attendant present on the aircraft. Because it is a commercial aircraft, crews will be able to see the cabin if necessary for safety. Did you know that Wisk is number 7 down in the AAM Reality Index? Get more info in 2 minutes. Compared to how cluttered the ground environment is, the space that we are operating in, the sky, is entirely open. There is defined clear airspace, interaction with air traffic control is facilitated by specific procedures, and none of this is possible on the ground. Driving on jam-packed highways is honestly a little bit like being in the Wild West. Additionally, Wisk must obtain FAA certification in order to fly, necessitating the implementation of stringent controls into its autonomous systems. Getting the FAA on board is only one aspect of the equation. It also entails meeting the standard known as 10⁻⁹, or a 1 in a billion chance of an accident. A significant change from today is a city full of air taxis. Wisk is upbeat, despite the fact that vertiports for takeoff and landing, as well as infrastructure to support last-mile transport in the air, all require significant community support. We see things differently and believe that, rather than just being made of concrete and asphalt, cities can be changed to serve a variety of purposes. This Gen 6 aircraft is a demonstration model. It lacks batteries and is unable to fly, making it an inadequate city-wide transportation option. For Wisk, scale will be necessary. The idea is that if you don't need a highly skilled pilot for every 4 passengers in an aircraft, you can fly more air taxis, which is one of the reasons it's going autonomous. However, it also believes that Boeing's support will enable it to achieve its ambitious objectives and the scale it needs. Within the first 5 years of launch, they intend to roll out to 20 cities, and by 2035, they expect to have almost 5,000 aircraft handling nearly 300 million passenger journeys. Therefore, if they make it affordable and if they set pricing similar to UberX, scaling this won't be too difficult. Numerous businesses, including Uber, had this dream and many of them closed or merged along the way. Kitty Hawk announced that it closed its doors in September 2022 after 10 years of producing aircraft, and establishing the Wisk joint venture with Boeing. There is no doubt that there is a great deal of turmoil in this industry. Dyson claims that the move has no impact on Wisk and that all of Kitty Hawk's patents have been transferred to the new company. In fact, one company, SMG Consulting, has an Advanced Air Mobility Reality Index ranking. Each company in the industry is ranked in how likely it will get something off the ground, literally. For what it's worth, Wisk was ranked 7th out of 27 as of March 2023. Now I promise to analyze this AAM Reality Index just a bit and answer some questions. There were a few things not checked off in the index. They seem to be at the low end of the scale. Were they important? One is, when has Wisk Gen 6 taken its first flight? It has not done that yet. So that field is left blank. The next is directly related to it. If it's not built to fly and ready for service, then you can't give an entry in service, EIS, date, not to be confused with environmental impact study. You gotta love the acronyms. So, that field is left blank too. Will Wisk fill in the blanks? An older Advanced Air Mobility Reality Index shows Wisk Cora and Kitty Hawk listed. Cora had its first flight in 2018 as a lift and cruise type vehicle. Kitty Hawk was a vectored thrust vehicle. All those patents were transferred to the new company. Advanced Air Mobility's updated index has Wisk Generation 6 listed as a vectored thrust vehicle which has not taken its first flight yet. Because every piece of this machine has flown in other machinery, I am less concerned than if this was a fresh design. I hope I was able to answer that first question, are they important? At least I could show you the resources to get the answers. This is a very useful list for a great website. I would encourage you to visit it. I've left a link to Advanced Air Mobility Reality Index in the description of this video down below. Please check it out. The real question is, can Wisk get 300 million passengers in the sky by 2035? Look down here in the description for more details on SMG Consulting's Advanced Air Mobility Reality Index. And don't forget to like this video. You did like it, right? Yes.